All right, we're going to move on now to the Labor Secretary, Alex Acosta, says he will resign. This comes amidst a growing controversy over the way he handled a sex crime case against the wealthy businessman Jeffrey Epstein a decade ago.
Last week, Epstein was arrested again on sex trafficking charges. Joining us with a closer legal look at the case is criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Ambrosio Rodriguez. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good to have you. So Acosta's resignation letter comes 2 days after he gave that news conference defending the non-prosecution agreement that he made with Epstein's lawyers back in 2007. Do you agree with legal analysts that Acosta's statements fell short because he never once apologized for how the alleged teenage victims were treated at that time?
And if you, even before you answer that, I think a lot of people, there's so much noise around the case, they don't even know what the original case was.
Sure.
Or what it's all about. If you could sort of just take us through that first.
Sure. I'll go back from the beginning. This was an ongoing investigation in Palm Beach, and the best way to kind of compare it to a local place, it's kind of like Indian Wells, right, or Palm Springs, which is an enclave of very wealthy people that have huge mansions. There was this ongoing investigation against Epstein that led to what was a 53-page indictment from the federal government that was never filed against him. Right? This investigation was basically he was using his staff to recruit young girls, and these young girls, children, 14, 15 years old, they would recruit them. He would pay them money. They would perform sexual acts. He would rape them, and this was ongoing. There was what I call it's been mentioned as a sweetheart deal. It really isn't. It's full and complete corruption, and why people, I think, are so mad and so suspicious of our system, because Alex Acosta worked at a big law firm called Kirkland and Ellis, and part of the defense team also worked at Kirkland and Ellis, and they knew each other. They met. There was a secret meeting at a Marriott, and that's very important because Alex Acosta was the United States attorney for Southern Florida, which is Miami and that whole area, right? There's a saying, the eagle doesn't fly. That is, when I, as a defense lawyer, meet with federal prosecutors, it's always at their office. They never leave their office for meetings. It's always, and the fact that they met at a hotel. The quote-unquote deal that Epstein got in Florida, I hope that there's further investigation as to what happened, because we don't really know the full story. There's no logical reason. I listened to Acosta's press conference. It was lies. That what he tried to say that, or he said that, well, our ideas of child molestation and sexual abuse have changed because of the Me Too movement. This was 2007. At the time, I was in the sex crimes unit as a DA. We had plenty of cases that were complicated, complex, with vulnerable victims. That is a lie. That is a fabrication. He lied about the standard of evidence or what needed to be done. He made it seem like this was a great deal. It wasn't. It wasn't even a slap on the wrist. I mean, this is why people don't trust the system. And sorry to get so upset, but I kind of dedicated my life to being a lawyer. It's been 25 years now. And this is not just a violation of what happened to these girls, but it's a violation of a system that we were taught and tried to protect is a great system.
Secretary Acosta, at that press conference you mentioned, suggested that when he was U.S. attorney, that the state case was falling apart, and he sort of came in and rescued it at the federal level and got the best they could given what was happening.
No.
Is that an accurate representation of?
Not according to the Miami Herald. Remember back in November, there was a 5-part series that kind of led to all this. And the detectives in that case approached the federal government because they were worried that Epstein had too much influence in Palm Beach and might have too much sway over the local DA. So they went to the federal government thinking, hey, look, the feds can handle it. And another thing, federal prosecutors do not care what local DAs do. It is too completely jurisdiction. They certainly feel that they have more authority and power because they represent the United States of America, and they do. So this idea that somehow he rescued it or made it better, that again, that is completely incorrect. And I'm going to further say that it was a lie, that he was trying to protect himself. This was a complete and total miscarriage of justice. Epstein has gone on to continue this, to do this. That's why they have new evidence. That new evidence led to the search warrant of his mansion. I mean, we're talking, he had, look, most Most people who have child pornography have a lot of child pornography, and they collect it. And Epstein was no different. I mean, according to the news reports, he had troves. He had it in his safe. He had it categorized and named and tabbed. And these are thousands and thousands of images. And this isn't a situation where, like most child pornography cases, he downloads it off the dark web. This is homemade.
Yeah.
He made his own. And that is a lot of time in prison.
Ambrosio, thank you for coming in this morning. Ambrosio Rodriguez is a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. You can check out his website and also follow him on Twitter.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.